Well, Pastor Mike, I agree with you. You see, with the issue here is that on one end, it's a very good approach so that you are prepared by the time you have any monies, things can start immediately. Then at the other end, you see how then it doesn't become such a commitment that you can't run away from it when the money is not there. I think that is a balance we need to check so that there is something remaining that you still have to do. It's not a final commitment to the contractors, but the only final commitment comes as a commencement letter. I think Kera does the same thing with the roads. They will do sort of procurement, but you're not given a commencement letter, and which means everything. That commencement letter is only issued to you when the money is there, but you can be issued with a commencement letter and start tomorrow, without now having to wait and start the entire process when the money is available. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Chair, while on the same, my question is actually affecting all other constituencies. We are all here faced by the same challenge of last mile, while we always come to your office day in, day out. Bana Siror and then their team, we are now facing Kenyans and telling them now we are going to have this budget cut, and now they should not expect last mile programs that they were waiting for. And especially, I am not supposed to talk on behalf of my constituency, but since I've been promising them that January there are more than 30 schemes coming. Now, are you telling me that I should now go back to them and tell them again they should wait, having in mind that while the president was in Mombasa, we were told to, between the process of promising and actually achieving what we promised, we should wait. Are we about to sing and say Kenyans now wait for electricity for the next 1 year again? Kindly clarify to us, because Kenyans are watching and the Kenyans are expecting us to deliver what we promised them. Thank you.
Chair, please let me add on something. I'm Kingara from Muriru. Actually, our concern, KPLC, is that yes, last mile was appreciated, and it was the only way to reach Machinani. But unfortunately, as much as there is this cut, there are many issues on transformers. Because the rains are there, the population is high, the transformers are not able to accommodate. And at the same time, as much as we are looking for revenue, we need meters so that we can collect revenue. Is meters and transformers affected? Thank you.
Well, members, since we only have a REREC, I was hoping that the comments were being made were clarifications. We intended to have now questions after the clarifications. Maybe during the presentation there's something that requires a clarification, but I think now since we are almost there, we can allow REREC the 2-3 minutes. Then we can agree whether we start the questions now or we break for lunch, and then continue after that. I hear you, Mheshimiwa Victor Mandazi. The verse is Acts 1:4. It reads, on one occasion while he was eating with them, he gave them this command: do not leave Jerusalem, but wait for the gift my father promised. So there is a promise and there is a waiting, and that is what is asking, how long do you have really to wait for that to happen? I think it's a serious matter. So let us, it was on a light note, let us do REREC. Okay, REREC. Let us have the presentation by REREC.
Let's allow REREC to finish the presentation. I think Kingara's issue of transformers will be answered. But I think let me introduce Rose Mukalama, who is currently the acting CEO for REREC. Peter who? Mbogwa is he on terminal on leave? Terminal leave. And we're happy to have Rose with us because it makes us look much better than the parliamentary side in terms of. So welcome, Rose. I'm being told to make clarity is on terminal leave, having served 2 terms. Karibu Rose.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, CS, for introducing me. I can see we are really trying on the gender balance. Allow me to take you to the annex, page 4. There are only 2 items that I will be talking to, and I think the first one has already been addressed by the CS. I'll just be re-emphasizing, Mr. Chair, on the issue of the installation of transformers. As the CS said, we have a reduction of 100 million. This has got a great impact. One, on the commitment that we made, even in our performance contracts for the year, but more so, it has a reduction on the number of constituencies that are going to be benefiting from this transformer maximization. It might reduce to even as much as 10, 14 constituencies when we look at a cost of 7 million per project, including the maximization. So I think this is a matter, Mr. Chair, that we may need to really reconsider so that we make sure that this project of transformer maximization is enjoyed across the country. I think the CS talked to the issue of fairness, to the issue of fair distribution of resources, and I'm just re-emphasizing on the issue of that reduction. The other issue is on item number 5, on Badea. In the year 2023-24, we did not get an allocation for Badea, and therefore we requested for an allocation of 1.8. We got 1 billion, leaving a balance of 806, and this is the amount that was supposed to be used for the installation services by the contractors. For the Badea, Mr. Chair, the work is ongoing, so we are soon going to be receiving invoices for the work done.
Should be coming, yeah.
Thank you. I think I'm back. So I was indicating that we requested for a budget of 1.8, but the allocation that we got in the supplementary was 1 billion shillings, leaving a balance of 806, which was the GOK component. Of course, this means that for the work that is currently ongoing and the project is at an advanced stage, it is supposed to be completing by June next year. It means very soon we are going to be receiving invoices for payment on the installation services. And since you have not received the 806, probably what we'll be requesting is a reconsideration of the allocation of 806 so that we don't have a problem of pending bills going forward. Mr. Chair, I think those are the only 2 issues, if you look at the annex, that I wanted to address as part of the budget issues.
Okay. Then I will have the CS. Then there are questions that had been asked. We will start with those ones.
Chair, because when I chaired the meeting in our boardroom at the Ministry of Energy this morning, the petroleum presentation, the whole petroleum presentation could only take a max of 10 minutes. So I was going to propose that you allow us to make that presentation between 1:45 and 2 o'clock. We could then go for lunch, and then we come and do the Q&A after that. It is fairly straightforward, and the PS confirms that it will not take more than 15 minutes.
That is within the powers of the members. Members, the proposal by the CS is that 10 minutes will be enough for petroleum to make their presentation. Then we go for lunch, then we come for questions. That seems fair. So, members, it's okay, yeah? Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. The ayes have it.
But PS, we have 10 minutes for the whole...
So you better then move fast, eh?
Thank you, Chair, and members of the committee and my CS, my colleague. Thank you for the opportunity. In State Department, we don't have huge project. The State Department is being funded by Exchequer, 27%, PDL, 73%. For recurrent, we have already done, the regionalization. We have given out that 1 million. And that one is basically on what is this? On stationaries, fuel, travel, accommodation cuts. So whatever we have, we are going to stay within our own means as far as the current is concerned. Then on project, I'll take you there to page. The last page is on 16 and 17. We have got 7 projects under upstream. We have done our level best maybe to cut down the 10%. But my major concern is project number 7, clean cooking gas for public boarding school. At this juncture, Chair and the members, I thank you for giving us support on this project. It was a presidential directives. You know that we have got about 3.5 to 5 1,000 maybe public boarding school who uses actually firewood and also the charcoal. And this project is a better project if implemented at the constituency level. Is going to have impact on our school children in terms of academia and also in terms of our tree planting. So what we have done is our budget was 3.
Are you there? Thank you. So we are 12% within budget. This is in line with the 10% target that we've been given. And every line item is actually on budget. Yes.
Are you affected by the budget, supplementary budget? Like a cut or something?
No, what we actually did was we did our rationalization ourselves.
Okay.
And submitted to National Treasury. And the rationalization we did, probably I can take you through page 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably where we did the changes. And the big one, Chair, is the LPG project, where we had a budget of 2.2 billion. Are you there? 4. We are removing that budget because we have changed the strategy. We want to partner with the private sector to be able to lease out the land and allow the private sector to participate. So the 2.2 million is come out of our supplementary budget. The only other addition that we have, as presented previously to this committee, we have factored in the pipeline intrusion system to the tune of 204 million. We also have the stations valves, the tune of 93 million, and other expenditure items that have resulted to a total increase of about 400, but in terms of the overall budget is a decline of 3.8 billion. So from our initial budget of 12.8 billion, we are now tracking against 9 billion. And the key driver there is actually a decline in line with the critical areas as well as policy guidelines.
Yeah, that is the part I need a bit of clarification. This number 2, where you are removing the budget, you said you're partnering with the...
We are looking not to use our money,
Yes.
but to be able to get a private sector where we lease land and they come in with the financing as well as expertise.
It is a matter that is a policy matter up there with a local decision.
No, it's a policy matter that has been communicated, and and we're in the process.
Do you have similar projects of that nature?
No, this will be the first one, but we have similar projects in other agencies within government.
I think for the committee that is a matter that needs interrogation.
Okay.
First of all, you are not struggling with your finances. You are not. And then you seem to have observed that you need now another partner. You know, like NOC needs a partner to pull them out of the misery. But sorry for putting that way, but we are all struggling to assist. Sometimes I'm scared when I see people doing cuts in NOC. What can you really cut in NOC? Yeah, and I've seen people cutting NOC. So now, that matter is a matter that, especially for an institution like KPC, which, unless maybe the other reasons we don't understand, but it is a matter that we may need to discuss further so that we also understand what informs the policy, the current policy. So maybe you can conclude.
Okay, so you want the answer now, or we discuss? You said after. Okay. So that's a conclusion. We've been able to rationalize all our budgets for the balance of the year. Thank you.
Again, the document for petroleum, just check your figures. They are not the figures we have. The amount for article, spend under article 223, that figure of 2 billion, I don't think it is 2 billion. Figures we have, I think, is 4 billion. Yeah, so just cross-check your figures, and when you're asking the questions, you will, when you come after lunch, you will harmonize the figures with what we have. You can even consult with our team to understand the figures we have. The one on page 16, yes, and the affected projects. Just ensure you have. Sometimes there is even a possibility to implement wrong projects. I realize that the way the budget moves, sometimes it's easy to have the wrong data. So just harmonize the data with our team. You see where the mismatch is. And also Treasury is here, so that we can just see if what you have is what is the correct information. So can we have you have concluded, Mr. Sam?
Yes.
Okay. So who is next? KPRL doesn't have to do anything because they signed everything. Where is NOC? No. There is a joke that should not be entertained. Eh?
We didn't
They're
hear.
saying that they didn't have the budget to come.
Chair, I had in the morning I had an apology from Leparan in my morning meeting, but promised to be here on time.
Okay.
So let him come and make that statement that has been silently made from that side. But maybe allow us to run through EPRA quickly, and if not, comes in on time.
Yes.
But it won't take time again. It's fairly.
Please.
EPRA is financed through levies and as an independent regulator. So I don't think they'll tell us whether they have also realized or they need to be given more money. Thank you. Kipto.
Thank you, Waziri. PS's chair, honorable members. I will take you through, I believe we have a small document that has been circulated that is before you. The first page is just the header. When you go to it's paginated, page number 1. As Waziri has said, as a regulator, we are funded from 2 levies, the electricity levy and the petroleum levy. We do have been receiving between 2019-2020 financial year to date some exchequer support, and this has been an interim solution as we seek your support to be able to adjust our levy so that then we can be self-sustaining as a regulator. But Chair and honorable members, the table you see before you on page number 1, I will take you to the bottom, the last row of the table. This talks to recurrent expenditure, what our total recurrent expenditure is for the financial year 2023-2024, which is 3 billion. We've been able to demonstrate what our budget for the first quarter was, what the actual performance in the first quarter is, what our percentage absorption is in the first quarter, and what that first quarter absorption is within the total overall budget. I will just take you through the last row, Chair and honorable members. We do have a recurrent budget of 3 billion, as you can see in that table. We were projecting to spend 750 million in the first quarter of this financial year. We have so far spent 396 million. This is 53% of our Q1 budget. This is on account of really, Chair and honorable members, the slow start to the financial year, the first quarter of the financial year, on account of approvals from government, and also the issues.
Maybe just to cut you short a little, the information that you're providing is good, but since the rest have skipped, I was suggesting you just go to the areas where you are affected.
Yes.
And we can just read this other piece of information.
Okay, Chair.
Like, do you have any budget cuts?
Yes, Chair, we've been asked to rationalize our budget.
By what percent?
Particularly for local travel, we've been asked, and this is across the entire executive, for us to be able to rationalize our budget in terms of travel and being able to rationalize some of our personnel emoluments as well. We've not had to rationalize our budget because if you look at particularly, when you look at absorption, particularly personnel emoluments, we haven't had the staff that we have recruited to report. So we've not really adjusted our budget with that respect. But maybe what I would...
Okay. Let me try to understand this. So it is you to rationalize, not the Treasury to rationalize for you. And are you saying that you're supposed to do what KPC has done and then report to Treasury?
Chair, we do seek the approval of the National Treasury. When we did get policy guidance that we need to relook at our budget and be able to rationalize it, we then looked at what our recurrent expenditure is currently, and that's why we're demonstrating to you what we budgeted for and what we've actually spent. And because of that variance, there is no need to then rationalize on account of us having spent less. But we still need the approval of the National Treasury with respect to the budget. So when we engage with the National Treasury and we are within the threshold in terms of the budget cuts which have come from the executive, we did not need to revise our numbers. But there are 2 areas that maybe, with your permission, I can just highlight, which is on page number 2. And I think this goes to that point. And I think it's the only point that I want to make so that then I can stop in the interest of time. When you talk to revenue performance, the first table, when you can see, Chair, in terms of our capex expenditure, is very negligible, it's very minimal. As per the current budget, 117 million. But when you look at the 2 levies, what we budgeted for and what is the actual, this is really the performance. This is at the table of revenue performance where we actually budgeted quarter 1 from electricity to be able to collect 278 million. We only collected 259 million. On the second one, we were projecting on a forecast to be able to collect 638 million from the petroleum levy. We only collected 357 million, about only 55% on what we had projected. And this because our biggest revenue as a regulator, what supports and sustains our function is the levies, electricity and petroleum. We do have the support of this committee. I'm aware in the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendment bill, we did have an engagement with you earlier in the year, and the committee did commit to support us in that endeavor. This is an indicator in terms of the dip in revenues, both at a macro level, at a country level, and also for us as a regulator when it comes to those two levies. That's all I'd wish to highlight in this respect, Chair.
Well, I think the CEO NOC joined us. People were gossiping you when you are not here. But now that you are here, you can make your brief remarks on the budget, supplementary budget. Just 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair, and honorable members. First, to introduce myself, my name is Leparan Morintat. I'm the CEO of NOC, and I want to apologize for coming late, but nonetheless, better late than ever. Chair, briefly, I'll go into the budget statements. The first question wanted us to clarify on our recurrent expenditure. And our total recurrent expenditure budget was 2.736 billion. But actual expenditure for quarter one is 416 million. And the expenditure relate to compensation to employees. For the full year budget is 539 million, but we have only been able to absorb 93,778,000, which is 17% of the actual budget. And this is attributed to the fact that because of our current performance levels, where employees have left, we have not replaced them to keep the budget low. We have also instituted austerity measures just to ensure that even the few employees that we have do not overspend on items that directly relate to employees, including travel and so on. Other operating expenditure, we had a budget of 191 million. Quarter one actual expenditure is at 135,100,000, which is at 15%. Our financing cost budget was 1,287 million.
Just to cut you short.
Yes.
We had agreed that we can just do the areas where we are affected by the supplementary budget.
Thank you, Chair. Then in that case, I want to report that as a National Oil Corporation, we do not have an area that has been affected by the austerity measures in the budget.
Contrary to my observation, I thought you had been slashed some A of 50 million from, or somebody's covering for you. You know, could be merciful people after understanding the predicament. But we can have an observation on that after lunch and harmonize the figures. It should be something small.
Chair, I wish to retract my statement and confirm that our exchequer allocation in terms of grants for Block 14T on the initial budget was 430 million, which through rationalization has been reduced to 380 million.
Again, check it properly because the exchequer seems unaffected. The GOK component, there is a cut of 50 from A in A. I don't know who is providing this A in A for NOC. That is the one that is affected, not the GOK, not the exchequer. So again, you can look at that. Other than that, you say there is no other area that is affected.
Yes, Chair.
All right. So members, should we proceed for lunch and then handle the questions after? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Members, that is the mood of the House. Waziri and your team, tutaomba sasa tuende tukule ndio tupate nguvu kidogo. Tukuje yeah. Tukuje tuna sawa. But the lunch, how long do we take for the lunch? Under 2 to 3, 45 minutes, members, Yeah. So we say we are back by let's say 3 sharp, that makes it 53 minutes. All right. The meeting is adjourned till 3 p.m. today.
Maajabu sana.